This is a message to all my supporters of this podcast. I'm introducing a new supporters program. You can contribute a small amount as a one-off payment to show your love for this podcast. Thank you in advance for all your contributions.
Hi, my name's Mark Hayward, and this is my podcast. You can check me out on iTunes and Stitcher. And what I wanted to talk tonight about was about your mindset. So this is something that has been discussed a lot by people like Gary Vee, and Tony Robbins talks about it as well. And I think it's incredibly important that we give enough attention to this, because this really will make a big difference. From a very high level point of view, if you go with things with a positive attitude, it can put you in the right mindset to be able to achieve great things. If you are there in a negative outlook and a negative mindset, that means that when opportunities arise, you won't respond to them in the best possible way, and you won't make the most out of those opportunities that come into your life. So I would say you should definitely listen to this and think about how you can change your mindset if there's something wrong with it. So I've got a couple of points that I want to talk about about your mindset. I will speak to you about that now. And so let's kick off with your mindset is the most powerful definition of your life. It sounds a bit grand, but essentially it means that this actually, as I was saying just a minute ago, it does actually define how you look at your options and you look at your life. So that is approaching situations in the right mindset, open to things happening and things affecting you in a positive. And I suppose you've got to be in a negative way as well, because you never know. Some of the worst things that happen to people are often the most defining things, but not in a negative way, but they are there to be able to respond positively too. So we've talked about on my video blogs and probably on this podcast before about negative things actually being the most powerful things for positive if you respond to them well. So it's incredibly important to be able to use your mindset for your advantage, for positivity. So if you're someone that is closed-minded, is not looking for the opportunities, but then you're still complaining about, oh, well, nothing ever good happens to me. Well, I think the reality is that things good do happen to you, but you're just not ready or able to be able to respond to them in the right way. So I think that's a good starting point for you to think about and just to assess. So next point is how to assess your mindset is by your values. So what are the things that inspire you, make you, what are the values that mean most to you? And we've talked about a couple of them. Is about positivity versus negativity. But also understanding where you come from. Do you want to help people? Do you want to make money? Do you want to be successful? Do you want to be the greatest? Do you want to be able to just get by? Do you want to be the best father, best husband or wife, whatever, if you're listening? Those are the things that are going to define you, and they will be reflected in your mindset. So think about yourself. So next point is to be able to understand yourself. So this is actually something self-assessment, being able to understand emotionally what inspires you, what makes you tick, before you can start thinking about other people and about how you can impact them. You've got to be able to understand yourself. You've got to be able to assess what those key things that are most important. Most important for me is my career, is also my these sorts of side hustles, these sort of side projects that I've got, the podcast and the video blogs and Twitter. Those are the things that I think are incredibly important to me. And but then I've also got a side that it's my family. I want the best for my family, and I want to provide for my family, my immediate family, and then I've got my wider family there, which are important, and then friends. So you've got to work out what what makes you tick? What are the important things that make you tick? Something else that's important to me is to be able to exercise on a regular basis. So these things are the things that make you up. So I've just totally exposed what's the most important things to me, and that's what I want you to do. I want you to stop this podcast right now, and I want you to think about what drives you. You've got to be able to understand yourself, and it is worth taking a stop on this podcast or just to think for 10 minutes. And also, someone gave me a suggestion: if you write down every emotion that you have about yourself, everything that's important to yourself, and just keep writing things down. Keep going until you stop. Until you've got nothing else that you think defines you, what's important to you, what are your values, what are the things that drive you. Once you get to the end of that, now what you'll probably find is there'll be duplicate things. So you might say your kids, and then you might say your family. But the actual process of just like data dumping, like mind dumping, everything that is important to you is incredibly important, because then you can start building. Once you've broken yourself down into what are the important parts, understanding yourself, being emotionally aware of yourself, then you can start being emotionally aware with other people. But you won't get to that point until a little bit later on. But that important point of trying to understand yourself is critical, because if you don't understand that, you can't impact anyone else. So hopefully you've taken that time and thought about that, and that's your starting point. That is your starting point for how to change your life, is by understanding yourself. So well done, those of you that stopped, or if you're just stopping now because you've heard the extra bit, stop now and just think about it, because it's so important. So hopefully you've done that. It could be quite an enlightening experience if you actually have done that and done that properly. So, okay, won't do it anymore. Right. Then you've got to learn to like yourself. So, and even love yourself. So it goes from understanding. Then you break down into the things that you actually like about yourself. Is it that you're career driven? Is it that you're business driven? Your business is the most important thing to you. Is it your family is the most important thing? What are those things? And then you got to decide that these are actually valid, good things to be able to think about and value, and then you start moving to the point where you can start liking yourself. And I know this sounds like, well, of course you like yourself. Well, a lot of people don't. A lot of people are affected by negativity about themselves, whether it's a physical or mental, whether they think their body's not great, or whether they think they're negative or they don't like certain parts about yourself. Do you always go for the wrong girl? Do you always take the wrong option? And when you've broken yourself down, you understand the values and everything around you, then you can start building yourself up again. And if you want to make changes about yourself, at that point of between understanding yourself and liking/loving yourself, you've got to work out the bits that you want to be, the bits that you want to make important in your life. And then you'll start to like yourself. So I would say that these two steps are so important, because a lot of people are racked with emotional negativity, or just they don't feel that their value is enough. So please think about it. Think about how you want to change it, and then actually action it. And you can actually do this with your mindset. And this is basically what it's coming back to, is getting your mind right for situations and opportunities that will arise. Right. Next point is you need to be the best possible you. This is fact. There is no one else in the world that is like you, whether it's to do with genes, DNA, and your experiences. Your brother, your sister might be very similar to you genetically, but your experiences will be different to them. And therefore, brothers and sisters and brothers, or whatever it is, they might have similar values, but they've taken it in different directions, have taken it in different experiences. So you need to be the best possible you. You need to make the most of those genes, whether you have good, healthy genes, whether you have had amazing experiences with travel, with sport, with academia, with business, whatever it is, you've got to be the best possible you. Now, that again is getting yourself in the right mindset where you can be the best possible. So you understand yourself, you learn to like yourself, you then make you the best possible you. Now, that might be giving, that might be charitable work. I would suggest don't give money only, maybe give time. As we know, time is the biggest leveler. Everyone has 24 hours in a day. No one gets more. And therefore, if that is what's important to you, then you should do that. You should give your time, whether it's repairing a shack or whatever it is, going somewhere spiritual, or whether it's gardening, a communal garden centre, whatever it is. I would advise, if you want to do charitable work, I would do it by time rather than just by money, because unfortunately there are people in the charitable sector which aren't as charitable as they should be. Enough said. So give your time, I would suggest. And then once you've developed that, you then need to think about how you can improve yourself. Now, people who are listening to this will probably want to improve themselves in their career or business. That's what I've sort of talked about a lot about, and that's what might be the most important thing to you. And therefore, you need to to be able to improve yourself. If it's a career, then maybe you need a mentor, maybe you need a colleague, a peer, maybe you need a good boss, you need to change your job. If it's a business, maybe you pivot and try something slightly differently, maybe you start a side hustle. All those sorts of things, I think you should be thinking about. I'm just going to go a little bit further afield, one that's not so further afield and one that is. The other one is finance. So I would say you might want to be financially free. Then you need income, passive income. You might want to do a second job. You might want to get one of your side projects into being paid to do. You might want to invest. You might want to invest in ISAs, in stocks. You might want to just put money away every month. There are various ways of being able to improve your finances, and I think it's important that you think about the ways that you can spend less. That's another way of being able to get your finances straight. And so I would say that if that is a really important to you, then you should definitely try and do that, because that will make a difference to your mindset, to your health, to your mental health. So it's another thing that's incredibly important. Something that we don't talk about, I haven't talked about a lot, is your health. You might want to lose weight. You might want to be healthy. You might want to run a marathon. You might want to do a 10k run, whatever it is. You might want to be able to improve your health in that way. And at this point, after you've done all the previous steps, you're then at the stage where you are ready to join a gym. You are ready to eat healthier. You are ready to run a marathon. Well, prepare to run a marathon, run 10k or whatever it is. You're then at that right point in your mindset to be able to do those things. But you've got to go through these previous steps to get to that point where you actually start improving yourself, because you can't just jump and say, I'm going to improve myself, I'm going to join a gym. Right, so you've speculated that you're going to join a gym, but you've got to really want to go to the gym, because it does take effort to go there at lunchtime, before work, after work, whatever it is. And therefore, you can't just go, I'm going to sign up to a gym and then never turn up. So it is important that that if you're wanting to improve yourself, you just think about that and get yourself in the right mindset by doing the previous steps. Right, so the next bit is something that is important, and we have talked about it before, and I'm going to cover a couple of places that I've spoken about before, but they are important, so I'm going to recap on them. So you need to set yourself a big dream, a goal, right? Run a marathon, get a promotion, start a business, do a side project. And the bigger you dream, the better. So it might be you want to be a multi-millionaire, a billionaire. You might want to travel. It's another thing that people want to do. They might want to be able to travel around the world, do a year around the world, and then you then can think about how to reach those things. So you set your big goal. That's up there. That's way up there. And then you think about all the small steps that you need to get to that point. So a marathon, you want to run 2 miles. Well, you decide tonight on doing that. You don't go, I'm going to wake up tomorrow morning before I go to work and run 26 miles. Not going to happen unless you've been training for a long time. But let's just say you're like the rest of us. You put that dream, and the first morning you run a mile, you run 2 miles, you run 5k, whatever that starting point is. But you should kind of you get your big dream, and you kind of got to forget about your dream, because what is going to make you be successful is not thinking about the dream. Sometimes it is worth, like when you're laying back in bed and thinking, wow, got to get that marathon, but that can be a bit daunting. You've set the goal, you've set that up there, you're going to start your own business, you've set that up there, right? You need to do the steps, the small steps, the daily steps, the step that you do, as I just said, every day to get to that point, right? So it is doing some research if you want to start a business, exploring opportunities about investors, seed investors, angel investors, venture capitalists, banks, friends, family. You got to think about those things. They're the things that are going to get you to your big dream. You almost need to think about those very, very 1%. So Dave Brailsford, I know he's not the best person at the moment with all the controversy, but Dave Brailsford came on when he started the Sky team. He was going to improve the sport by 1%, and those 1% you do every day, and you do it in a year, you've improved yourself by 365%. Very simplistic, but you know what I mean? You get to that point in 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. You need to get to the day 1 and day 2, and you get those 1%, because those 1% motivate you. That little thing, that little success of running 5k, or running 5k with a decent time, you're on track to your big goal. So you've got to be able to do them daily, every day. It takes discipline. It takes willpower. It takes strength to be able to get up every morning and go for a run, or work at night researching for your business, or going through your to-do list on a Sunday night before Monday so that you're aware of everything you need to do on Monday. These are the steps that are going to get you to your successful point. So you need to do them every day, right? Every day, without exception. There is no excuses. You need to be able to do this every day. And so, as I said, what you'll find, if you get those small successes, enjoy them, but don't revel in them, enjoy them, and then move on to the next one. Don't go too overboard, because we've talked about too many highs or too many lows is not good. You need to keep a constant pace, a constant strength, a constant resilience to be able to achieve those daily goals that after a week you then lost a couple of pounds. Whatever it is, I don't mind what it is. You just think of it. Think of that one thing that you need or you want in your life that's going to make the biggest impact. And then do that step. Do it. Start tonight. Don't always say, I'll start next week. That's not a good way to start. You need to start tonight, if the latest tomorrow morning. So I want you guys to go out there and think about the dream, and then you think about your steps. Well, how are you going to get to that dream? You need milestones, you need markers, you need places or to enjoy those steps. But you need to find those steps. So, and the other way is like you then get into a habit. You do something for 30 days consistently. It then becomes a habit. And then you can have positive habits or negative habits. So you can smoke or drink, or you can run, and you can go to the gym, whatever that is. You want to be strong, go to the gym. If you want to have stamina, go for a run. But you've got to be able to reward yourselves with those small wins, and then you're able to achieve those big goals. So that's it about your mindset. I kind of, they're all of those points, I think, are for where you start, and about halfway more about very early on, you've got to do critical points like understanding yourself and learning to like yourself. And then you've got to then start doing your big dreams and your small iterations. So hopefully you're able to take this on and think how you can improve your mindset and be a better you. You might as well be the best you, because there's no one else like you, so you might as well try being the best that you can. So good luck with that. Just as a recap, my name is Mark Hayward. I am on Twitter, Mark Hayward 169. I am on YouTube with all of my video blogs, with my thoughts, ideas and comments. And obviously my podcast is on iTunes and Stitcher. I am a corporate employee with an entrepreneurial mindset. And if you'd like to reach out to me, by all means, reach out to me by Twitter. And any comments, thoughts, ideas, what you think's gone well. I've got quite a few now here. So I'd be interested if anyone's got any comments on how I can improve, things you'd like to hear about. I'm totally open for suggestions. So by all means, please drop me a line if there's anything that you need. Thank you very much.
Looking for a new podcast to listen to? Here's what we love, courtesy of Acast Recommends.
Why does your phone make this noise? Ever been totally immersed in a video game? Do you watch a movie and really feel you were there? This is Randy Zuckerberg. On the new podcast, Powered by Audio, we tell the stories behind the sounds we hear every day. Sounds that inform, entertain, educate, get our attention, stress us out, and sometimes save our lives.
911, what is your emergency?
So listen and subscribe to Powered by Audio on Acast, Apple, Spotify, everywhere you listen to podcasts. Powered by Audio is supported by EPOS. Based on pioneering audio technology, EPOS strives to unleash human potential by perfecting audio experiences. Learn more at eposaudio.com.
Acast
recommends.